fit in with that group, but I don't want to be picked on. It's
Right.
very important that you're not picked on as a teen, so they will jump in. So it doesn't mean that that is the reality of your life, that you're ugly. It just might have been you were the person who got the abuse that day. But sad enough, it's actually caught on into your head.
Well, it's weird because then, you get that and you go home and you kind of, it's like, it's not, people aren't constantly harping away at it, but you pretty much get the impression, in your own family that people think there are gross things about you. I don't think, my mother never said my face was gross. I think she always said I had a nice face.
Okay.
But they were constantly talking about my weight. Constantly. But the thing is I want to make it sound like I think they were concerned. I don't think it was like, but it just was like it was a constant thing about how disgustingly thin I was.
Okay. Do you think that
And I don't get it either because, there was a time when I eat more than I do now.
Okay.
And I never put on weight. I remember they took me to the doctor about it. They were worried. The doctor didn't even check me out. But we went through the normal thing. And the doctor looked at me, this is the doctor's, I'll never forget this. She said, do you eat when you're hungry? So I was like, yeah. She said, well, you don't have a problem. That was all the doctor said to me. Do you eat when you're hungry? I was like, yeah.
And your parents just let that go?
Yeah, I told them, and we just, a couple of days later, it was back to the same thing.
Do you actually eat a lot?
Well, I don't now. I did back then. I used to eat all the time, but at somewhere in my life, I became, I don't know what I became. I became distracted, and I really cut down to like 2 meals a day. I'd eat once in the morning, go to the diner, and then I'd stay home all day long, like sometimes till 3 a.m., and I'd go out and have another meal. That was it. I did fine, I guess.
Well, that's why you have Sammy here, because that's not very healthy, 2 meals a day, obviously.
Well, but also, I kind of like, and I like women, and the diner was always a great place to eat, to relax, to collect my thoughts, but also to see beautiful women, because they would be the waitresses. Now, I didn't sit there drooling and being inappropriate with the waitress, but it was nice just to look up and see them walking around the diner. It was like an exposure to beautiful women.
Did you talk to them?
I never talked to them. I didn't want to bother them, and also, people told me that if a waitress is friendly to you, and they've been telling this to me my whole life, they don't really care. They're hoping that you're going to give them a good tip, or next time you're in there, if they get you, you're going to give them a good tip. So it's all fake. So no, I didn't really talk to them. One time I talked to a waitress that I actually really tried to get something going. Is the one that turned out to be we don't want to get into that, but she had some problems.
Okay. Well, let's step a little bit ahead.
Okay.
Because you had the 3 women, you felt a little humiliated.
Yeah.
And you've been saying this goes back a little bit. Do you look at yourself and believe what everybody has said about you? When you look in the mirror, or when you think about yourself, do you see yourself the same way people
honestly, I'm not trying to be like a smart aleck. I try not to look in the mirror. I try so hard every morning. And there's been a few times
Why?
What? Because I don't...
What happens when you look in the mirror?
I just don't like it. Because I've got all kinds of problems. And there's been some times when thank goodness there was someone here, because usually when I do the mirror thing and it really bothers me, I just end up sitting down in a chair for like, I don't know, an hour or more, and I just sit there and stare at the wall, and it just takes all the energy out of me. But there's been a couple times when Zach's been here, and I just kind of talk to him about it. It's very upsetting.
Okay, so I think after all of those years of hearing it, you actually are believing it.
Well, I also see photographs of myself. I mean...
But you are your hardest critic.
I mean, I'm kind of weird looking.
You're actually your hardest critic.
I wish I had the...
You're the worst critic. I read your blog. You get a lot of good stuff. But you look at yourself worse than everybody.
I mean the blog there. But that's, it...
Can you tell the difference of what's fake and what's not then?
No. I actually don't think I can. I don't think I'm good at that. And I can't give you... I'm giving you like a gut reaction to your question. Maybe if I sat here and thought about it, I could... No, I don't think I'm probably very good at that at all. No, I'm not good at deciphering between what's phony and what's genuine. Maybe that's a problem I've had in relationships. I don't know.
So this has got to be kind of a hard
here's the thing.
project for you.
I look at those blogs, right?
Right.
And those are all good people. I mean, I know these people pour themselves out to me like in long emails about their personal lives and things, but I have to know that if it were just me in my house and I set up a cam in my room, I wouldn't be getting this. These people, I think, one of the reasons they like me is because for whatever reason, they look at me now as some kind of like media star, and you know, in our culture, people in the cinema, in movies, even in a reality show like this, they have a certain draw to them. But that's why I think they like the fact that I'm some kind of a, you know, I hate to use that, you know, they think I'm some kind of celebrity, and then they like me.
So then how,
But I don't think they like me.
They like the image you're portraying.
I think they like the fact that they look at me as a reality show star.
Then what I'm worried about is when your 6 months is up,
Right.
and it's time to go back into the real world, and wherever the real world may be for you, because who knows where you're going to be?
Pennsylvania. I actually have something lined up.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a job lined up if things don't work out here.
Okay,
so.
good. How are you going to be able to tell what's real and what's not real? Because you don't want to cause any more pain. And I think it's hard for you to see what's real and what's fake. Actually, I think deep down you sometimes know what's real and fake, but I think you're willing to put yourself through the pain anyway. And that's what you did on Friday. You watched the girls, and deep down you kind of knew it was a game, because you said that.
Yeah, on my way down when I saw all three, and I instantly, I was like, you know, but I was thinking, okay, but maybe something real will happen. I'll connect with one of them. I don't know. Maybe it's just the preliminary step. Maybe we'll do this. There'll be a lot of, you know, ha-has, like gits and shiggles, and then we'll go over there and we'll connect on a one-on-one.
But did it end up...
But that's an, I need to think about that now, about the not distinguishing between...
Did it end up being more of a painful event at the end or more of a fun event for you? That's what I'm worried about. If you can decipher it and go, this was a fun event, and that's okay, and I had fun.
No, I can't. It was both. It's mixed up to me. It was both. I tell you, I didn't really have the time to actually sit back and reflect. I don't know if you watched it, like how much, but I didn't really have a lot of time to sit back and reflect on it because, they dovetailed the visits. Carrie came in. Yes. And then I had, you know, not spectacular, not horrible, just the usual day with Carrie. It was like, surprisingly, I mean, that's pretty much what Carrie and I do. We just went out in my room, we talked a little bit, I was on the computer.
Well, how did you feel going from the three girls straight into Carrie? Because that's from one totally different situation to another, and you were kind of thrown into both of them.
Oh, it felt like I was coming into an air-conditioned room after being out in the hot sun for like hours. It was nice. It was familiar, and it was real. It was real to me. Like Carrie and I don't have some huge romantic bond, but you know, it was real. I know who I am. I know who Carrie is. She knows who I am. It was good. It was a good place to retreat to, or to heal up in.
Well, how do you feel about Carrie at this point?
Oh, Carrie is my best friend. I love Carrie. She's my best friend, and I wish things between us were a little bit different because, I mean, we could have a great relationship with her. I mean, we could stay together for the rest of our lives, but there's too much stuff there.
You can actually see yourself spending your life with her?
No, I can't, but I could almost see it. There are just one or two things that are there that just prevent that from happening. Part of it is I don't know what I don't want to characterize it. Well, it depends how you look at it, I guess. Part of it is my shallow issues or my own personal preferences, however you want to look at it. Part of it is some of, you know, her, I don't know what, some of her jealousy, I guess. So.
How long have you guys been broken up at this point?
I don't know. Let me think. 3 years, maybe? 3 years? Yeah.
And you guys were able to break up and still be good friends?
Oh yeah, I mean not initially. I think when we first broke up, there was like a 2 month where we didn't speak at all.
Right.
And then one day I just called her and just started talking.
And
it wasn't like a big apology or anything. I just started talking, and then we met, and then I gave her a huge apology.
How did you break up?
You mean what led to it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was just it was the whole thing with Joe. There was a whole problem there.
With who?
With Joe. I thought Carrie and I, things weren't going well because she didn't seem to be able to tolerate me talking to other women at all, to any other women in any capacity.
So she was jealous, as you were saying?
Yeah, it became like a real problem, like huge. And then she she physically went through some extreme changes, and I tried to
Like what?
well, she became very large, and I tried to suggest to her that it wasn't healthy. I tried to jog with her, which is frightening because anyone seeing me exercise now knows that barely works. But I tried to run with her. I tried to get her to be more active. I tried to encourage both of us to like eat differently, because I figured if I just said to her, "You got to eat differently," I don't know. I figured that would be kind of bossy. So I tried to eat differently with her.
How long were you together before she physically changed?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll guess 5 years. 5 years we were going out.
Okay, so you were going out 5 years, and then
Yeah.
she started making physical changes.
Right.
What is
Well, no, she started like
gradually?
maybe a year, yeah, gradually. But then, like in that last 3 years, it just like bang, like she just like seemed to let herself go. And I didn't know. I explored every. No, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know. I explored everything I possibly could. I tried to see if like she was like emotionally, like she wasn't getting what she needed from this. If she was having problems with her family. I didn't know what it was. I just thinking, you eat with me all the time. Maybe I'm eating messed up stuff. Like maybe we need to eat differently. Like I tried every possible thing I could, and she just got bigger and bigger. And what started really bothering me is in the beginning, she would say, "Oh, I'm gaining weight. I have to go work on this." She'd never work on it. But what started to get me is when she'd eat a scoop of food, and she'd say, "I'm fat. Now how about that?" That was her big expression. So whenever she put on another pound, she just looked at me. She goes, "I'm fat. Now how about that?" So then we'd be sitting someplace.
Because she knew it bothered you.
Well, we'd be sitting someplace, and this is just something. This is a problem I have. But like a beautiful woman would walk by, and I'd turn my head for a second, which is you just don't do it. But I did it because I have a problem, I guess. I would never talk. I'd never engage. I used to make her nuts. She'd like to take her hand when I did that and just dig her nails into my hand and start squeezing, which really hurt. But
Well, she was obviously feeling insecure, and that's why she was telling you, "I'm eating. How about that?" Because she was feeling insecure.
I'm fat now. How about that? Yeah.
I'm fat.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine.
and but because she was feeling that she was sensing that you didn't like her like that, and you didn't.
No, and I told her I didn't. I mean, I didn't say I don't like you like that, but I said, I kind of miss the old Carrie. I was trying to. I'm not like a bull in a china shop when it comes to expressing things like that, but I did my best. So like a woman would walk by, and then like I wouldn't say anything now. I would look at the woman, and she knows me well enough to know when I notice someone, and then we'd turn back to the conversation.
So you realized that hurt her, right?
Of course, and it wasn't like this. It was like, I would just like look to the side, and then usually because I know her, I would say something like, "Oh, sorry," or and then we'd start talking again, and then she'd like start saying, you could never get that because that you could try, but you'd never get that. That's way out of your league. I mean, look at yourself. You'll never get that. I'm like, so,
But you have to realize that you were both at that point feeling so hurt that she was feeling that you found her unattractive, that she was just attacking you back.
There was no, in those last 3 years, practically, last 2 years, there was like no physical anything. There was no physical intimacy.
Well, why did you find her so physically unattractive because she gained weight? What was the reason behind it? Because did you love her for who she was as a person?
Yeah. I loved her for who she was as a person, but I also loved her because of her beauty. It wasn't like one or the other. I took.
It was a package.
It was a package. Yeah, I liked them both.
But you couldn't accept her with the weight she gained.
No, because I like I said, there were other things. It seemed, and maybe this is just my perception. I don't know. Maybe it's not accurate, but it seemed to me that as she gained weight, she also became more bitter, more jealous, more I don't know, more like controlling. She changed. She actually changed a little bit. There was a change that came over her with the weight.
Do you think it was a reaction change? Maybe she was reacting because she knew you felt different towards her? I'm not saying it was.
Yeah.
And that you don't have any right to feel the way you do,
No.
but I'm just saying it almost sounds like you guys were reacting off each other.
Very, very possible.
And didn't communicate about it until it was later on.
I honestly haven't even thought about it in these terms until you're introducing these ideas. And